In this video, I'm going to show you how I sewed my dress for my brother's wedding this past fall. The colors were a dusty blue with a dark red. For the fabric, I chose a light cotton with a darker hue for the lace of the blue. I didn't have a pattern in mind. Actually, I was a bit stuck on the design of dress I wanted to create. I sifted through my bins of patterns trying to find something that would inspire me in my design. This first pattern is something that I always want to use. I love the classy look with the design of the dress as well as the touch of the lace. When I draw my dress ideas, I use a template below. I don't have artistic skills, so I use what will help me in the designing process. With this second pattern, I like the V-neck shape with the pleating on the bodice, but the midriff holds me back in wanting to use something else. I originally thought I wanted to use this pattern with the blue dress, but I changed my mind once I saw a news reporter's dress on TV. This other dress is completely lace, one color, and has lace edging along the sleeves, giving it a cap sleeve look. Once I establish the pattern I need to use for the bodice, I work on tracing all the pieces. I didn't always trace my patterns onto tracing paper, but after years of cutting patterns to one size and then changing sizes, I find this keeps my patterns longer. A few years ago, I bought a roll of tracing paper off of Amazon. So now I place it on top of the pattern and trace my size with a pencil. It does help to hold it down with something heavy, such as the magnetic pin holder I have. Tracing the pattern, I pin it to the fabric. The center front bodice piece is placed along the center fold, whereas the other pieces just need to cut. I have 2 layers of fabric under those pieces, cut them out and lay them off to the side. Repeat with cutting the lace fabric. This is for the front and back bodice overlay. These pieces need to be all facing the same way. Do not have the one piece horizontal while the other one is vertical. We don't want to have a perpendicular pattern on our dress with some roses going up and down or other roses going left to right. may seem tedious, but iron out your patterns of fabric before you sew them. I had no idea where I put my ironing bench, so I used the opposite side of an extra quilt. It worked pretty well. When sewing the bodice piece, place the nice side of the fabric together. We want all the seams on the inside of the dress. When I first learned how to sew, I messed this up a lot. So it just takes practice doing it correctly. I know the zipper doesn't match, but what I want to show is that I place a temporary zipper into the bodice piece for fitting. Don't skip the fitting step. It will be a pain in your rear while doing it, but it is how the dress will fit your form. Take in at the waist, then take in at the bodice. Anywhere I have taken in on the underlay bodice piece, I take in on the overlay lace bodice piece. Like I said, it's a pain in the rear, but the results are going to be worth it. Here we start preparing the lace fabric for the skirt. We need a straight edge at the top. I use the lines of my cutting board to follow to achieve this. I then work on trimming off the lace edging to use for the neckline and the armholes. The other side of the lace edging I want to include on the skirt. I trim off the small threads that hold it to scrap edging, and yeah, I have a little friend there trying to watch while I do my work. Using the same length of fabric as the lace, I measure and cut the cotton fabric. Next, I want to stitch these two pieces together at the top. The complicated step of pleating. I don't follow any patterns for sewing the skirts that are pleated or gathered. Instead, I base it off of the waistline from the bodice piece. First, I find center. I pin the bodice to the skirt. Then I find the off centers. So this is where the front bodice piece attaches to the back bodice piece. I divide the skirt into fourths, 1/4 for the left back, 1/4 for the left front, another for the right front, and the last quarter will be for the right back. From there, I guesstimate the size of the pleats. back to my sewing machine and I sew the pleats so that they stay there while I work on the skirt. If I need to make any adjustments when sewing it to the bodice, I'll use a seam ripper, rip it out, and redo the last pleat along the edge before attaching it to the bodice. I don't do anything fancy with lining. You can buy lining fabric which is thinner and made of polyester. For this dress, I use the same cotton fabric as the underlay fabric. And any adjustments made during the fitting need to be done when making the lining piece of the bodice. Place the right sides of the bodice and the lining together, line up the seams, then begin sewing the top edge of the bodice. This next step is done on quality dresses at the store. This is where the stitch will hold the lining from ruffling its way up. Jumble the skirt fabric together, then attach the right sides of the bodice and the lining at the bottom edges together. Pin this. This is going to be tight, but it will hide any fraying edging on the skirt on the inside of the dress. Starting at one end, begin to unravel the dress. Once out, the dress will be the right side out. One last finishing touch, I sew the lace overlay to the top of the bodice. If you would use boning, you wouldn't need to do this. For me, it'll help keep the underlay up while I wear the dress. I do insert a zipper, sew the back of the dress together and hem the underlay of the skirt. And throughout, I am trying on the dress, double checking the sizing and length of the bodice and the skirt. I made adjustments and finished the dress with an eye and hook on the back side of the bodice the day before we left for Nebraska for my brother's. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to A Farmette in Bloom to see more of my homemaking and homesteading projects.